And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Coca-Cola Speedway as we get ready for the running of the Coke Vanilla 299 here for an exciting 26-lap event. Certainly going to be a wild one, there's no doubt about it, and these drivers certainly glad to be getting back to some regular racing rather than that scary road course we were at last week at Thornton. Only one driver in this series actually did fall off the turn of death, and he's actually starting on the outside of the front row, so good to see Dawson Wise back here unharmed. That was really scary watching those drivers take the tumble off the 80-foot drop. But nonetheless, time to turn over that page and head here to this fresh new race here at Coca-Cola Speedway. I was really torn between what track we were going to go to next. I did have a whole season list on where we were going to be going, and I do have a few blanks, and this was one of those tracks that was a blank, and I was trying to figure out where do I want to go. I really didn't think this was a good venue due to the fact that we're heading next week to Talladega Super Speedway. It'd be kind of like having two restricted plate tracks in a row, but nonetheless, works out pretty well, I guess, and this is where we're going to be. So it's going to be Joe Gibbs racing on the front row for what I think is the second time this season. I think this is not the first time we've seen Joe Gibbs racing Toyota Tundras sit on the first two positions, but Bob Jones will hold the pole for today's race. Alongside of him is going to be Dawson Wise, who, as we said, is back after that horrific tumble off the 80-foot cliff. Eric Burton's going to line up in third alongside of him, rookie Zach Rogers, and then Angel Navarro, in only his second start in the Truck Series, he will start in the top five in the fifth position. As I said, 26 laps. It could come down to fuel strategy today. We've been talking with the drivers, and they say the fuel window is going to be very, very testy as far as trying to stretch this on one tank of fuel, but we'll see what happens here. James McLeod, who comes in as the only three-time winner in the Truck Series here this season. You heard right, three-time winner here at race number 7. McLeod has won 3 races in a row at Altoona, Auto Club, and then last week at Thornton. He comes in trying to become the first ever 4 consecutive wins in a row winner in the Truck Series. He's got quite a task today, but it could happen. He comes with a 25-point advantage over Dougie Shears. Then it's a total of 28 points to Dylan Poteet, 15 back to Dylan Young, and then 19 back to the top 5 in points, Brian James. James McLeod did open up a little bit of a points lead over Shears, Poteet, Young, but all 3 of those drivers end up coming away with top 15 finishes last week, so the advantage wasn't nearly as great that McLeod was able to build over the rest of the field, so his points lead could be taken away today. We'll have to see what's going to go down here today. We'll also keep an eye on Daniel Day, Jacob Lawler, Prunes Littlejohn, Chris Dollerton, and Trent Dunham, who are the rest of the top 10 in the point standings. Time to get these cars rolling off. The Coke Vanilla 299. Why do I always pick the sponsorships that make me hungry and thirsty? I don't know. But anyway, we're ready to get these cars underway, these trucks underway for green flag racing for 26 laps. There they go. We're all set. Hope you're all set too. Here comes your starting lineup for today's race at Coca-Cola Speedway. Many people categorize this track as a restricted plate track. Others say it's kind of almost like a huge Darlington because sometimes drafting does not come into play when you get into these turns. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen here. I kind of think this is very similar to M&M Super Speedway where there is drafting involved in the front and back straightaways, but when you get to the turns, it's kind of every man for himself. It depends on who's that has the fastest truck in the fastest line. But we're going to find out at the end of 26 laps who is going to be the winner here today. Here they come, Bob Jones, Dawson Wise, the green flag is out here at Coca-Cola. One thing here about Coca-Cola Speedway, lots of wreck fests, and we hope these guys are going to be able to keep it together at least for a little while and put on a good show of green flag racing, but Tell you what, when they start getting 3 wide, 4 wide, someone may make a wrong move and we could end up having a lot of torn up race cars. As Bob Jones takes the lead, Eric Burton moves into second. Now he's getting a challenge from Angel Navarro. Dawson Wise on the high side getting freight trained there. He's starting to lose positions along with Zach Rogers. And look at Sean Henley and the Amp Energy Chevy Silverado come up the inside line with help from Dougie Shears. Big run by those two. They picked up a number of positions there on the back straightaway, working a 2-truck draft along with Kevin White and Joshua Michaels. So they are 3 wide coming off of turn 4. And look at Henley, he wants more. Going 3 wide to the inside of Eric Burton and leader Bob Jones. Jones will lead the first lap, but I don't think he's going to lead the second lap because here comes Henley. He's got drafting help. That's in the form of Kevin White, Joshua Michaels, Stephen Pollard the third is back there. I think I saw Charles Sanford on that inside line. The inside line is definitely the preferred line around this racetrack. There's no doubt about that. If you want to make moves, you got to get down almost to that yellow line on the back straightaway in order to avoid getting caught in the middle or the high side and being freight trained to the back. As here we go. Henley's now going to get freight trained. Kevin White's going to go to the lead. And he got drafting help there from Joshua Michaels. They may allow him to slide down in front of Stephen Pollard III. That's exactly what he did. Nice move there by Kevin White, utilizing the middle groove on the back straightaway to get to the front. And did we have a caution just come out? I must be just hearing things. Here we go. Charles Sanford going to look to the inside of Stephen Pollard III. That is for the second position as Kevin White continues to lead. Here comes Brian James. As we said, 5th in points. He's got a lot to gain today, and he is currently running up inside the top 5 now, looking for that 5th position. Or now 4th place off of Stephen Pollard III as Charles Sanford now is the new 2nd place driver. Come a few other drivers we haven't talked about today. Alex Tanker, Dylan Poteet, and his friend Cody Lamas. Jacob Lawler, another driver that's inside the top 10 in points. He's now starting to work his way up to the front. You're going to see this as a typical road restricted plate track racing where the driver's going to come up in waves, split them up into 3 groups, front, middle, back from the start of the race. That's wave 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to see them coming up to the front, falling to the back, up to the front, to the back. And sometimes these drivers really try and play strategy into that to try and be in that way that's going to be up at the front at the close of this race, as we have now completed 3 laps here and we are still green flag racing. This is good racing between these guys. I'm pretty impressed. Usually we end up having wrecks heading into the very first turn on the very first lap, but they have been able to keep it together here now for 3+ laps. Cody Lamas now going to be the leader, and now he's got Danny Wells all over his back bumper. Danny Wells was another driver who ended up falling off the turn of death back at Thornton, although that was in the Moblin Cup Series event. But here he comes down to the inside line. He's got Kyle Thomas coming up right behind him. Then is Max Russell. Nick Bellardo is there. Andy Timmons is there on the inside line. And Danny Wells, I thought he might make a move on Cody Lamas there in turn 3. Nope, it's going to be here in the coming off of turn 4 down to the stripe. Kyle Thomas, though, has thoughts about the lead. Here he comes to the inside 3 wide. And he's got plenty of friends down there that inside line helping push him to the lead. And whoa, a little contact right there between himself and Max Russell. Nearly got the 43 turned around. That would have been a big wreck. You can bump draft down the front straightaway, but not in the turns. And that was a textbook bump draft down the front straightaway, and it got the 43 squirrely. But here comes Max Russell. He's had enough being behind Kyle Thomas, but Nick Bellardo's going to go down to the bottom. He wants to go to lead. He wants to have the Coca-Cola Chevrolet at Coca-Cola Speedway go to victory lane. Right behind him, Charles Jackson, 14th in points, trying to move himself into the top 10 in standings. Same for Nick Bellardo, who's 13th in points. And there's Sean Galligan, who was really a dominant truck last season. He's 36th in points right now, and so he's looking at Coca-Cola to be a springboard to move himself back up through the standings. And the first caution of the day is out. It took him a while, but the caution is finally waving. It's out here on lap, I think it came out on lap 5. We are now on lap 6. And for the first time today, the yellow flag waves, but I'm pretty impressed that it took them this long to actually bring a caution flag out. That was some good, hard racing. Let's see who was involved. Oh, Daniel Day, 6th in points and the current rookie points leader. And I don't know if he knows this, but he's actually caught on the apron on the racetrack. He's got to get that car turned down to the left and get himself on the apron. Oh, man, that's a tough break for Daniel Day in the 17. I don't know if maybe he can't turn that car to the left. He may have lost all steering in that 17 Ford F-Series. Yeah, you see, he keeps jerking it to the left, but it jerks back to the right. I think he may have lost the steering inside that 17, which is to test to maybe how hard a hit he took into the wall. Prudence Littlejohn has also sustained some damage there in the 28th in points. Dougie Shears up ahead. I don't know if he's got damage or not, but if he does, that's not good because he's second in points. And right behind Prudence Littlejohn, you can see with some front end and some left side damage, Chris Dollerton, the defending champ and 9th in the standings. He has some damage there. Yeah, Shears did have some damage. So 2nd, 8th, 9th, and 7th in points, or 6th in points rather. Daniel Day all look like they have some damage from an incident. And we got some pit stops and a few drivers going to play some strategy. Charles Jackson, Max Russell, Noah Hart, Andy Timmons, Danny Wells. They're all going to stay out as Nick Bellardo, Sean Galligan, Aaron Williams Jr., James McLeod, our 3-time winner this season. Looks like Dunn LaPrade, Lyndon Wright, Silver Fox, DeMarco. Who else is that? Is that Kyle Thomas? I think it is. Jacob Lawler, William Duncan, Cody Lamas, Zach Rogers, Stephen Pollard III, Pichu London, Bob Jones, Dougie Shears, Prudence Littlejohn, and Chris Dollerton. Those were the drivers who came down pit road, and it was a gas and go, it looked like. And whoa! Sean Galligan's trying to, oh my goodness, he almost used those slower cars who held up Nick Bellardo to be able to get around Bellardo off of pit road. But I think Bellardo has him cleared now, and coming off of pit road, it is going to be Nick Bellardo, then Galligan, then Aaron Williams Jr., then McLeod, and then Dunn LaPrade in the 14. Well, someone lost a lot of positions on pit road. Who was that? There was somebody came down pit road a lot sooner than that, and he just lost a ton of positions. I don't know who it was. But it looks like some drivers did decide to stay out. Let's document who they were. Charles Jackson, Max Russell, Noah Hart, Andy Timmons, Dan Wells. That'll be the top 5. Tyson Broad, Charles Sanford, Alex Tanker, Dylan Poteet, Trent Dunham, Dawson Wise, Kevin White, Angel Navarro, Brian James, Dylan Young, Joshua Michaels, Emilio Navitt, Eric Burton, Austin LaPlante, Sean Henley, Adam Chambers, and John Radigan. The top 23 decided to stay out and not come down pit road this early. Everybody else, though, did come down pit road. Let's jump back now, look at a replay of what happened to Daniel Day and 3 others who came inside the top 10 in the points. Let's try to pinpoint where this incident started. You can see here in this shot, you got Dollerton, you got Dougie Shears, and you got Prudence Littlejohn. Oh, there's the contact. Came between Dougie Shears and the pole sitter, Bob Jones. They came down into the other Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Tundra of Prudence Littlejohn. She's going to go spinning around, and she's going to come back up into the 17 of Daniel Day. I think that's exactly what's going to happen right there. Chris Dollerton, he goes sliding up the racetrack, but I think he held on to it. He had a lot more damage than I saw before. Oh, this is why Dougie Shears going to slide up in front of him. Okay, yep, so there is Dollerton getting involved. He's going to actually, no, I thought he might go up and hit the wall. He's not going to. Dougie Shears there, though. There's Prudence Littlejohn. There is Daniel Day. But that was a relatively small wreck from what we normally see here at Coca-Cola. And Daniel Day, I think his big problem was he did not just head on the apron and head to pit road. He tried bringing his car back on the racetrack. With the banking here in these turns, there's no way you're going to be able to make that transition from the flat apron to the high banks of turn 3. And Daniel Day just basically kind of took himself out of contention here. He should have really just made the wise move and gone down on the apron, gone down pit road, and kept himself on the lead lap. But I guess a little bit of a rookie mistake there by the guy who comes in as the rookie points leader. The good news for him, though, is that the guy, or the gal, I should say, who's trying to run him down for the rookie points lead also was involved, Prudence Littlejohn, but I don't think that's going to make him feel much better. As we are under the caution for the first time today, let's head back to green. Ready to go back to green flag racing. Charles Jackson, our winner from Las Vegas, he is out in front, trying to become a 2-time winner, maybe try and chase down James McLeod for most wins this season. He's got quite a task to do that if he is going to. We already gave you the top 23. Why don't we jump back to the guy who came down pit road first, and I'm forgetting now who it was. Oh yeah, of course I know who it was. It was Nick Bellardo. He is back actually in the 23rd position. I thought that, did somebody else come down pit road? Let's jump to the back of the pack real quick. Someone else must have come down pit road, made a pit stop. No, I guess not. I don't know why he scored in the 23rd position. I thought that John Radigan was scored in 23rd, but he's in 22nd. Alright, so Nick Bellardo is going to be 23rd, 24th, Sean Galligan, 25th, Aaron Williams Jr., James McLeod, 26th, Dunn LaPrade, 27th, 28th, William Duncan, 29th is Kyle Thomas, Lyndon Wright completes top 30. Alex DeMarco, 31st, 32nd is Jacob Lawler, 33rd, Cody Lamas, Zach Rogers, 34th, 35th, Stephen Pollard the third. Pichu London, after a nice top 5 last week at Thornton, he's 36th. Pole sitter Bob Jones back in 37th. 38th, James Overfox. Chris Dalton, 39th. 40th place is Dougie Shears. 41st is Prudence Littlejohn. And Daniel Day is actually returned to the racetrack. I think he's a total of 2 laps down. But he's still on the racetrack. So if a wreck happens and takes out some drivers, Daniel Day could end up moving up a few spots in the running order. Question of whether he's going to stay inside the top 10 in points, though, after today is going to be very much in doubt. But we will find out all the answers in a matter of 17 laps as the green flag is going to come back out, and we will have 17 to go. Charles Jackson going to get us back underway. Now, here's the question I have. If this thing indeed does go into real long green flag run, because we've seen these drivers are capable of keeping it green, is that going to play out a problem for these guys that stayed out, these top 22? Don't know. We're going to find out, though. Whole host of drivers, I think a total of 21 drivers came down and made pit stops. Nope, 20 drivers, I'm sorry, came down and made pit stops back on lap 6. It was a gas and go, however. And it's going to be a battle for the lead, and it looks like Noah Hart may win out here through the middle groove. He's going to try and come down in front of Andy Timmons. Oh, wait a minute, he gets moved up the high side. Danny Wells almost went through the middle, and here comes Timmons down to the bottom. Andy Timmons, the rookie in the 23, with help from rookie Tyson Broad. They're going to go down 1-2 on that inside line, and they're going to try and work past yet another rookie, Noah Hart. And then they're going to go 4 wide. They are going to go 4 wide. They're 4 wide here at Coca-Cola, and I don't know if they can keep it together. Oh, they're bouncing on each other. Max Russell and Tyson Broad. Oh, Charles Sanford, they're bouncing, and they're still keeping it together. Sanford, please just back out. Please just back out. Oh, no, they stick Danny Wells up on the high side there. They're still 4 wide. This is not going to work. This can't possibly work. But it is working. Tankers in a battle up there with Noah Hart for the lead, but we've got to stick around here because this is very dangerous. 4 wide. Danny Wells, Max Russell, Angel Navarro came up, and there they go. You just had to know what's going to happen. Burton's into the wall. LaPlante is involved. Navarrete. Oh, man, Joshua Michaels just nailed someone. Prudence Littlejohn just nailed the Max Russell machine. There's Dougie Shears, second in points. Aaron Williams Jr., Zach Rogers, Lyndon Wright, James Summerfox. Chambers has gotten a piece of it. Bob Jones is involved. Kyle Thomas is involved. Oh, man, more cars lining the pit road. Jacob Lawler, Danny Wells. And I'm naming off drivers that are inside the top 10 here, folks. There is Sanford. Nick Bellardo is involved. There's Pichu London with damage. Second caution of the day, and it was just a matter of time. I hate to say it, but it was going to happen. Prudence Littlejohn's on pit road. There's Max Russell, Wells, Lawler. Eric Burton's on pit road now. 2 teammates from Rush Fenway. They're on pit road. LaPlante and Stephen Pollard the third. Dougie Shears. There's Eric Burton pulling in just ahead of Zach Rogers. Burton's day is done. And Dawson Wise in the 18 also was involved too after starting on the outside of the front row. Now look at the damaged cars, or damaged trucks here. Dunlop Prad's got damage. Wright, Jones. There's Thomas. And this guy's probably pretty happy to see that incident take place. Daniel Day, this will help him pick up some spots in the running order. William Duncan's also got some damage. Leader under caution is going to be Alex Tanker in the 29. With Noah Hart right behind him. Brian James completing the top 3. We got to look back at a replay. The big one has struck here midway through today's event here at Coca-Cola. Oh, we got some drivers making pit stops. Is everybody coming down? Oh, everybody's coming down. Even the drivers that worked the pit strategy last time are all coming down. So everybody's making pit stops here on lap 12. We'll come back to see what the end result is of these pit stops in just a moment. We head back now to a replay of our second caution of the day here at Coca-Cola Speedway. You look at this, and if you've been a commentator as long as I have, you know it's just going to happen right there. I'm not even sure who made the initial contact, but Angel Navarro, Dawson Wise, Max Russell, and Danny Wells all up 4 wide into the wall. There's Eric Burton with nowhere to go. He's going to get involved. LaPlante gets clipped. He comes up into it. Emilio Navarrete, he's caught on the high side. He's boxed in. Same for Charles Sanford. They can't go anywhere, and these drivers had all kind of separated away from each other. Oh, Zach Rogers hard into Austin LaPlante. We'll follow the 33 in just a moment. But there were a whole bunch of cars that separated at the restart, and there they all come. Dougie Shears into Danny Wells, Prudence Littlejohn to Max Russell, Daniel Day utilizing the high side to get around. Does anybody else come into this mix? I don't think so. I think somebody else, a few others were involved up here with the Zach Rogers machine. Let's rewind it just a little bit because he came right down in front of traffic. Oh no, was there an incident further up here? Oh, there was! Oh no, there wasn't. My bad. There's the hit. Zach Rogers into Austin the Plant. And oh, there was an incident up there with Cody Lamas and Charles Jackson, Chambers, Aaron Williams. Now, what happened here? Was this a result of drivers trying to get past that wreck or what? Oh, it's exactly what it was. That was absolutely what it was. Watch right here. As everybody's trying to work their way down to the bottom to miss this wreck. I think it's Aaron Williams Jr. gets down the apron. Right there. Oh, and it was Lyndon Wright. Lyndon Wright tried to split the difference between Charles Jackson and Aaron Williams Jr. at full speed. And he made contact with him, sends him up the racetrack. Angel Navarro going to get a piece of that. There's Chambers, there's Jackson. And I saw the 39 of Cody Lamas get a piece of it somewhere. There he is. William Duncan, there's Stephen Pollard III, Kyle Thomas, Bob Jones, James Silverfox all getting pieces of it. So that was a wreck and then a follow-up wreck. And oh, Lawler. Who in the world pile-drived him over to his roof? Was that Duncan? Oh, no. Whoa. I didn't even see this. He misses the spinning Austin the Plant machine, does Lawler, and then Zach Rogers, he can't miss him, and look at this. The car goes up on its roof, and oh man, he goes tumbling. The car, when it went up in the air there, the momentum just turned him onto his underside, and oh my goodness. And he runs into the back of Dunn LaPrade upside down. And as I'm looking here at the scoring monitor at our point standings, I'm seeing drivers that came in 2nd and 7th in points. Dougie Shears and Jacob Lawler with heavy-duty damage and potential DNFs from this race. Definitely not what they wanted coming into today's race, but the big one, no doubt about it, has struck here. We had about 3 different wrecks take place. The initial wreck, then a follow-up wreck, and then a wreck following up that. But a lot of damaged trucks as a result of it, and we are getting ready now to go back and see just exactly who's going to be able to continue here. We may have a pretty dwindled down field to finish out today's race. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. When we do get the green flag, there'll be a total of 11 to go here today at Coca-Cola Speedway. All these drivers came down, made pit stops, a different variety of strategies here. Alex Tanker was first on, first off of pit road. Noah Hart lines up behind him in 2nd. Brian James 3rd. Tyson Broad in 4th. And 5th is Dylan Young. Alex DeMarco is 6th. Joshua Michaels in 7th. 8th place Sean Gallion. Trent Dunham 9th. And Dylan Poteet is in 10th. Kevin White 11th. Andy Timmons 12th. James McLeod up in 13th. Sean Henley 14th. And John Radigan 15th. Cody Lamas runs in 16th. 17th Charles Sanford. Emilio Neverett 18th. 19th is Chris Dollerton. And Nick Bellardo is 20th. 21st is William Duncan. 22nd Angel Navarro. Pete London 23rd, and Charles Jackson is in 24th. That's it for the cars that are on the lead lap. There are 2 cars on the inside line. They are teammates from Roush Fenway Racing, Stephen Pollard III and Daniel Day. Stephen Pollard III is currently 1 lap down. Daniel Day is 2 laps down. They're running 25th and 28th at this moment. Drivers that were out as a result of those wrecks that took place are as follows. Bob Jones, Lyndon Wright, Kyle Thomas, Dunn LaPrade, Adam Chambers, Eric Burton, Austin LaPlante, Zach Rogers. 2nd in points, Dougie Shears is out of the race. Also out are Dawson Wise, Danny Wells, Max Russell, Aaron Williams Jr., James Silverfox. 7th in points, Jacob Lawler. He will finish in 41st today, and 42nd is Prudence Littlejohn. So 3 drivers who came inside the top 10 in points. Dougie Shears came in 2nd, Jacob Lawler came in 7th, and Prudence Littlejohn came in 8th, all out of the race. This definitely going to change the look of the top 10 in points, no doubt, as Alex Tanker, 11th in points, looks to move inside the top 10 standings with a win today. Green flag's out, 11 laps to go. Let's see if we can race clean and green to the checkers. You got to think that big one scared some sense into these guys, and they'll maybe race a little bit better. I don't know. Freight trained on the high side is Alex Tanker as Noah Hart goes to the lead. Brian James into 2nd. Tyson Broad, how about this guy? He's made quite an impact here in the NNSCRA after making his debut in the trucks and mobile last week at Thornton. And he wants to win here in only his second Truck Series start. And he could do it. Here he comes down to the bottom. To the lead, getting drafting help here from Dylan Young. Dylan Young knows something about that 59 truck. If I'm not mistaken, if I think back to prior history, I think Dylan Young ended up winning a Truck Series race in a rather exciting finish in the 59. And of course, had different sponsorship then. I may be wrong, but I think that was the number. And Dylan Young going to go to the bottom now, and he's got drafting help in the form of Brian James. Here comes Alex Tanker back and Noah Hart. Alex DeMarco's back there. Don't count out Trent Dunham. Look at the Richard Childress cars up here now. The 29, the 27. They're having some pretty good runs right now. As Dylan Young's going to continue to lead, and we are just inside now. 10 laps to go, so if a caution does come out and we do get back to a restart, it'll be single file, no lap cars to have to contend with. Keep my fingers crossed that I didn't just jinx them though, and things have really broken up here. We got a total of 8 trucks up here in a lead pack, and then it's a long ways back to 9th place. Dylan Young, Noah Hart, DeMarco, Dunham, Kevin White, Alex Tanker, Brian James, and Tyson Broad. The top 8 are up here. Then here's a battle for 9th between Radigan, Timmons rather. Got the 2 red trucks mixed up. Sean Galligan, Dylan Poteet, Charles Sanford, Navarrette's back there along with Joshua Michaels. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to catch up to this first pack or not. They are not too far behind. This pack of 8 though, they're going to maybe try and work together, stay ahead of those other guys, maybe race it amongst themselves for the win. I don't know. Let's jump here to our ticker. Okay, last time around, Andy Timmons was the leader of that second pack, and they were about a little over 2 seconds back. Let's see if they cut into the lead here, if they are gaining ground on these top 8. As they cross the stripe, let's see what the distance is between 8th and 9th. Oh, they cut it down big time. They cut it down by 0.3 of a second, so definitely that second pack is a lot faster than this first pack, and they are catching up, so I think they're going to have enough time, too, so we may end up having an 8-car pack all of a sudden turn into about a 20-car pack before all is said and done here. As Alex DeMarco now looks down to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for the lead off of Noah Hart. DeMarco's actually been kind of a silent type this season, but he's been doing very well in points. 16th in the standings right now, and with an opportunity to move inside the top 10 in points if he can end up coming away with a decent top 5 run today. One driver who's trying to solidify himself inside the top 10 in points, that is Trent Dunham, right here at the tail end of this pack. As, oh boy, they're getting racy up here at the front. That was close. Trent Dunham comes in 10th in points. They're Dylan Young, 4th in points. Brian James to his inside 5th in points. And Alex Tanker right there as well in the 29, 11th in points. So a lot of drivers have had hardships here today that were running well in points, but a lot of drivers also have been having really good runs today who came in inside the top 10 in points. How about the 3-time in a row winner, James McLeod? Where is he? Well, he's back right now in the 17th position, bringing up the rear of that second pack, who are catching that first pack. As a matter of fact, they just caught him. Just like that. They're there. Hello, hello, hello. We're ready to get racing here. And according to where James McLeod crossed the stripe, I think he crossed in 17th. Let me see where James McLeod is. He's the last car in that pack. Yeah, he's in 17th place, which means this is a 17-car pack now with about 7 laps to go. Dylan Young back to the lead now. Help from Alex Tanker, and a lot more players up here now in the mix. Here comes Joshua Michaels, Radigan, Poteet, Sanford, Galligan, Henley. They're all there, ready to race for the win. Dylan Young continues to lead though. Here comes Tanker. Crossover moves. Nice crossover move right there into turn 3. He'll move back to the front. John Radigan lined up right there. This track's actually a lot bigger, obviously, but it's pretty similar to Altoona. And don't forget John Radigan, a finishing runner-up to James McLeod at Altoona, so not surprised to seeing him running up here. This track's designed very, very similar, at least with the turns and the exiting off of turn 2 and turn 4. Battle between the Dylans for second place. Well, that was over quickly. Dylan Young, freight trained on the high side. He's going nowhere but to the rear. And here comes Dylan Poteet with Sean Galligan down to the bottom, but Galligan wants more. He's going to stick Dylan Poteet in the middle 3 wide. It's going to be Galligan going down low for the lead. And he's got drafting help. Charles Sanford, Emilio Navarrete, and James McLeod all of a sudden is up here in the mix. When they come around next time by, it's going to be a total of, what's it going to be? 4 laps to go. I can't even tell my own ticker. That's pretty bad. Sean Galligan is still the leader, and remember, we told you, Sean Galligan wants to use this race as a springboard to move himself back up through the stands, as he's been a contender in the Truck Series for the past 3 seasons. Sean Galligan in that Blue Deuce, 36th in the point standings. He really needs to get something going with some good momentum, and right now it's looking like he's doing so. Here comes James McLeod, though, looking to the inside of Charles Sanford. He's got Timmons to his inside, though, so he'll be in the middle 3 wide heading into turn 3. Galligan's got to be loving this. He wants them to continue racing for second so he can continue to lead the way, just block every line he can and keep the lead, win the race. They've single filed out, though, at least between the top 4, maybe top 5. And here comes James McLeod now, down to the inside line. Man, oh man, has this team been on a roll. James McLeod trying to become the first back-to-back-to-back-to-back winner in the Truck Series. Be a 4-time winner in only the 7th race of the season. But here's Trent Dunham, Dylan Young, Brian James, drivers inside the top 10 who would love to get wins here as well. 2.5 to go as they hit the back straightaway here. Don't count out a couple of these sleepers, too. We haven't seen Sean Henley up at the front very much. Andy Timmons hasn't been up at the front very much. He's there as well. Dylan Poteet. Tyson Broad could pull something out here and end up winning. It's a restrictor plate track. Remember, they cater to the underdogs. Coming off turn 4. Oh, and James McLeod's pitting. Everybody's pitting. Few drivers did stay out, though. I think I saw Sanford stay out and Andy Timmons stay out, but they're having to pit. They would be coming down to 2 to go. And I think it was I thought I saw Poteet heading into his pit stall. I guess not. Guess he's still got to come down. But James McLeod's going to come down and pit. William Duncan, Chris Dollerton, they already pitted a lap earlier. They're now leaving pit road. Now let's see what the strategy is going to be here. Oh, it's a stop and go. They couldn't make it on fuel. And the lead, I believe, did cycle over to the 45 of Charles Sanford. Pit stops here in the closing stages. Andy Timmons now moves by for the lead. These two may be the ones to battle it out if they're willing to stretch it. They could run out of fuel too, though, because remember, everybody came down pit road on the very same lap after our second caution. And Sanford's heading for pit road. Timmons is going to try and risk it. This is the ultimate risk reward here for Andy Timmons. Can he make it? 26th in points, white flag in the air. This is an awfully big racetrack, and with no drafting help, there's no fuel conservation available. Timmons has got to hope and pray he's got enough fuel in there to be able to get him to the end. Andy Timmons in the 23 in his rookie season wants to win here at Coca-Cola. He's willing to risk it by stretching that tank of fuel where every other driver came down and got a splash and dash on pit road. Timmons is willing to risk it. He's still maintaining a full speed of 206 miles per hour. He may be able to coast if he wants to. I think he's got this. Coming out of turn 4 for the final time. Fuel strategy is going to pay off. He can shut it off and coast it. Andy Timmons going to stretch it, and it's going to pay off. He's going to pick up his first career industry victory. Andy Timmons wins at Coca-Cola Speedway in a fuel strategy move. And I think he's out of fuel. I think he was out of fuel coming off of 4. His speeds rapidly decreased coming off turn 4, and they have not picked up. He's out of fuel. Andy Timmons had just enough to get him there around the racetrack one more time, and what a move there. Tell you, these rookies, they can make some crazy moves happen, but they sometimes pay off, and Andy Timmons, he's a winner now in the Truck Series. He becomes I believe the second rookie winner this season. Prudence Littlejohn won at Phoenix. Now Timmons wins today. And he is out of fuel. There's no fuel left in that 23. He's having to milk it around this racetrack. He's still got a whole half racetrack before he can get to pit road and victory lane. His team may have to come out and push him to victory lane. It may be a long push, too. But what a tremendous job there by Andy Timmons and that 23 team. What a great job for them in only his rookie season. Andy Timmons, a great move felt he could make it the rest of the way, and he was able to. He ran out of fuel off turn 4, but he could have shut the car off and coasted down, and he still would have won this thing. Andy Timmons with the win here today in the Coke Vanilla 299. Let's take a look at the rest of your finishing results, as I'm sure it's going to take a while for Andy Timmons to get that car even down to pit road. Look at him moving it back and forth, trying to get every little bit of Sunoco fuel into the gas intake. Timmons wins the race. James McLeod, he didn't close the deal on 4 consecutive wins, but he's still going to come away with a runner-up position. Will the points leader. So James McLeod, man, he's been win, and second in his last 4 starts. What a great season he is having. Brian James, 5th in points. He's going to get 3rd. Trent Dunham, 10th in points, gets 4th. Charles Sanford, he tried using the same strategy Timmons did, but he wasn't willing to risk it. Came down pit road in the final lap. He'll still get a top 5, though, in 5th. 6th place going to be Sean Galligan. Noah Hart in 7th. Dylan Young going to finish in 8th. 9th place was Dylan Poteet, and Alex Tanker may have just moved himself into the top 10 in points with a top 10 run here today. Wow. Came down to fuel strategy, and Andy Timmons rolled the dice, and it came up jackpot for him, and he's going to win here today and become the 2nd rookie winner. His first career NNSCRA victory. Congratulations to him. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. Oh, he stalled it out. He stalled out. Timmons is stuck on pit road. Timmons has got to have his crew come push him to victory lane, but I don't think he cares. The car out of fuel is still a winning car, and Andy Timmons wins today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race, though. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Helps me out a lot. Here comes your official finisher results, overall point standings, and rookie points heading into next week's race, which is going to be from the high banks of Talladega. But we still got Coca-Cola racing coming your way here with Mobile and Snickers Cup Series action. Hope you'll tune in for those, as you've been watching production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.